Closing it on halfway tonight in NASCAR Busch Series racing from Richmond on TNT. Let's try this again. Wrapping up the 5th caution.
And there comes Harvick. Just like in Bristol when he was 2 laps down. Except this time he's going to have a fast race car, but he's 4 laps down.
Harvick in 36th place now. Jimmy Spencer leads in the 1. Jeff Green is 2nd in the yellow car in the 10. Then it's Matt Kenseth, Ron Hornaday, and Greg Biffle. Back through 5th, the rest of the top 10, Jason Keller, Ryan Newman, Jeff Burton, Chad Little, and Rich Bickle.
And we've got trouble.
29 car.
Brian Vickers.
Don't have a yellow yet, though.
He has kept it running and is headed back toward pit road. We stay under the green flag.
And here comes the 17 car. He had to move. I started to say he's trying the high line, but I think maybe the 2 car he thought was underneath him. Well, no, he's still trying that high line.
Yeah, well, the 10 car is trying that high line too. Jeff Green's up there too, so it's going to make it tough for Matt. I know Matt's been running really good up high, but you have to go real high to get around the 10 car right now.
Well, knowing Harvick's got fresher tires and he's got 4 laps to make up, and just knowing Harvick and the let's just say aggressive tendencies he's shown the last couple of weeks, I think I'd give him a little room too. At this point, what has he got to lose? Harvick. He's running 36th, right?
Can't back up much, that's for sure. We see Jeff Burton, the 9 car, trying to get by 0-2. Ryan Newman, that's the 7th position.
There's some smoke there out of the 0-2 car getting in that corner.
Let's go to pit road. Dave Burns.
Alan, Joe Nemechek stopped 4 times during that caution period to fix the damage on his car, and I checked with crew chief Brian Patty to see if the car was okay. He said the car was fine. They just changed 4 tires and took out a round of sod. This is a round of sod.
Has that got Bugs' nose on it somewhere? Or?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dave, thanks.
I don't think Kevin Harvick has the horse that he had at Bristol. I think he's got a good race car, but I'm not sure that it's the dominant car that he had in Bristol.
While he continues to try and get a lap back from Matt Kenseth to get up to the front 2, let's go back and check in on a race for 9th and 10th positions. There's Harvick giving up the ghost there for a little while. All right, well, not for long. All right, now let's go back to this 9th and 10th place thing here. Actually, now for 8th, Kevin Grubb trying to take 8th spot from Rich Bickle after having disposed of Jeff Burton.
Car you talked about earlier, BP.
Yeah, I tell you what, and Kevin Grubb told me he was a lean, mean fighting machine. He was ready to go to the front with these guys, especially here at home.
Kevin from Mechanicsville, Virginia, which is a suburb of Richmond. Little contact there. Did he cut his tire down?
No. There was a little contact back there, but
well, he's still running. So Grubb loses 2 positions there. And Chad Little closing in on them. Boy, Chad has had a great race. Hasn't he? Started 29th. He's up to 11th. Look at Chad. Chad's got top 10 finishes the last 2 short track races for the Busch Series. Indianapolis Raceway Park, he finished 3rd. And at Bristol, he finished 9th. Fourth place.
On board with Greg Biffle, 5th place car. And no, he didn't stop there, folks.
Greg Biffle, one of the other players in the championship chase, standing to gain some ground on Kevin Harvick tonight. Biffle in third, 378 points behind Harvick. And he's fifth, while Harvick is 36th. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has moved into the 15th spot. Let's go to Liz Allison.
And I am with Bobby Hamilton Sr. Hey, Bobby, how do you think your boy's doing out there tonight?
Well, all the fenders are on it, so he's doing pretty good. You know, the first half of the year, they had a lot of trouble getting in crashes. And I told him, I said, buddy, just make laps. He had a fifth at Darlington last week, run a good solid race tonight. As long as you're there at the end, be a good outing for you sponsors and learn a little bit.
Is it hard for you to sit up here and watch Bobby Jr. out there race?
No, not really. You know, he's in a real safe race car. Them guys pay attention to the particulars in the safety area. And he's been doing a heads-up job lately, so it's pretty easy right now.
Bobby Hamilton Sr. will start tomorrow night. Alan?
23rd will be where Bobby Hamilton takes the green flag tomorrow night. He will be riding along with Marvin the Martian, one of the Looney Tunes cars. That was always one of my favorites.
You are a little younger than I am because I had no idea who he was.
Do you have your Q39 modulator?
No. As I said, I didn't have a clue who Marvin the Martian was, but I know that Kenny Wallace, the 48 car, just lost a spot.
Good job, Bobby. There you go. That's the way to do it, buddy. Let's go get him. Let's go get that 33 car.
All right, Bobby, that's the next victim, the 33. Go get him.
Just past halfway in the Autolite Fram 250 at Richmond for the NASCAR Busch Series. Jimmy Spencer leads Jeff Green, Matt Kenseth, Ron Hornaday, and Greg Biffle on TNT. All right, Ernie, thanks. In addition to that U.S.-Brazil showdown, you'll also see the women's 3-meter springboard diving competition on the 2001 Goodwill Games from Brisbane, Australia, following the race here on TNT. You ever dive off a 3-meter springboard, BP?
No, I don't think I have. Dived off a footlog once trying to cross the creek, but that was a mistake.
There's a story there somewhere.
Uh-huh.
You dove off a footlog.
Well, it's a long story. Won't get into it tonight.
10-meter platform, that's what you dove off of, Alan?
That's what I dove off of?
Yeah.
No, I don't dive off things that are more than about a foot off the water. How about this?
I think Jeff Green is going to finally get this outside line working, isn't he? Or is he? No, Spencer comes up and blocks him. He's going to try it again.
The only way he's going to be able to pull this off is he'd get a fender on Spencer so he can't use all the racetrack. Like almost right there.
Almost. He's going to try it again.
Yeah.
Lap traffic. They're going to go 3 wide. Lap car gives him room.
But Jeff has got to get that wheel up under his right rear wheel of Jimmy Spencer.
Whoa, what was that with Harvick and Kenseth? Did he just bonsai him?
I don't know what happened, if he did a slide job or what. But Harvick lost, 17 of Kenseth lost about 25 car lengths.
Man. Kenseth's still in third. Remember, Harvick is 4 laps down back in 36th place, but I think he might have just used the lap car there and maybe forced a hold it wasn't.
Better not try that on that one car.
Remember, we've talked about aggressive driving and all of the bumping and banging and hot tempers there have been the last couple of weeks in the NASCAR Busch Series. Remember the end of the race in Bristol a couple of weeks ago tonight when Jeff Green pulled up alongside Harvick and was bouncing off him after the race. And then last weekend at Darlington, actions that resulted in 4 guys getting fined. Had Harvick and Chad Little wrestling in the garage area. Rich Bickle wrecked Kevin Grubb under the caution. The whole Scott Wimmer thing that we talked about, running around the racetrack looking for somebody, and Greg Biffle getting caught in a case of mistaken identity.
Hornaday had some problem up there off of turn 2. Got it back going again, but he got way high.
Here's Harvick trying to press Jeff Green. Jeff, the second place driver. Damage on his car from when Jimmy Spencer got into the back of him earlier to take the lead away from him.
Now, if these guys racing like that, it's going to let Jimmy Spencer get up a little bit of a lead on the car of Jeff Green. So Jimmy's liking this.
Last time by, Jimmy Spencer had a half-second lead. We'll see as these two cars race.
Ashton Lewis got some problems off turn 2.
Looks like the engine has expired on the 46 car.
He lost 2/10 that lap, what you were saying there, Benny.
That's right. Talking about the second place car of Jeff Green, lost 0.2 of a second.
All right, let's go back. We were speculating that Harvick kind of make a hole under Matt Kenseth in traffic a minute ago that cost Matt a lot of ground.
And the answer is...
No, Matt just slid up the racetrack.
Okay.
No foul.
Upon further review, not guilty.
But now Kenseth has closed back up right on the back bumper of Jeff Green. That's Kenseth, the blue car.
This is for second place. 18 car, Mike McLaughlin. His first one a lap down. He's in 28th place. Just been overtaken by the leader, Jimmy Spencer.
I guess I'd expect Jimmy to just let Harvick go.
I mean, he ought to. I mean, after all, the guy's 4 laps down. He's not going to do any damage for another 100 laps anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, we've seen race leaders before not want to let a guy that's a lap down go.
Well, it's a lap down, but 4 laps down.
Just thinking back to the Robbie Gordon thing with Kevin Harvick at the Sears Point race for the Winston Cup Series. Well, Kenseth sure tracked Jeff Green down in a hurry. Whoa, wow. Did you see that? Spencer with a big wiggle.
And here goes Harvick. He's on the inside, and Jimmy Spencer wisely just backs off and says, go ahead, you've got better tires than I have. And after all, you're 4 laps down, so take that spot. I don't want it.
Speaking of tires, the leaders all stopped at lap 53. We are now at lap 151.
Won't be too long.
Marty's in the leader's pit. Marty?
Yeah, one thing that Jimmy Spencer's team is keeping an eye on, Mark Reno is Jimmy Spencer's spotter. He's keeping an eye on the brakes. And if you'll notice, when Spencer goes into the corner, his brakes aren't glowing like Jeff Green's are. Jeff Green is really using a lot of brake into the corners. Spencer trying to save his brakes as much as possible. And there's not as much glow, and the brakes aren't heating up as much as Jeff Green's are.
And that's a good race car. That's a good handle race car. When you don't have to use brakes as much as the next guy, it means your car is getting in the corner good, and it's rolling through the center, and you don't have to use the brakes as much.
17 car, Kenseth takes over that second spot. And talking of brakes and Jimmy Spencer, in the Winston Cup race here in May, you know, Jimmy's ran really well the first 50 laps and 75 laps. He told me later the reason he fell back was he overheated the brakes those first 50, 75 laps. He said, I've got to learn to be patient with these brakes at Richmond.
Wow, leader slicing through some serious lap traffic there. 96 laps to go. Another round of pit stops still upcoming for the front runners here at Richmond on TNT.